Good morning. Welcome to another podcast of the Electric Bison. I'm out here in a park that's above the St. Paul's Methodist Church in Helena. Behind me is a sculpture by a young fellow named Tim Holmes here in Helena. He's got pieces in the St. Petersburg Museum, the Hermitage. And he's a good sculptor, but I like his sculpture because it's dedicated to his mom and dad, and I knew both of them, and they were really wonderful people. And they really did have courage, which is really important, and compassion, which is also important, and it came from the heart. Anyhow, I'm pretty excited because there's a guy here that's become a friend of mine over the last 3 years in the weirdest kind of way, but he's a friend, and I just know him as Kelsey, but I'll ask him to introduce himself to you here in a minute. But what I've asked him to talk about is something he's extremely knowledgeable about, and that's, I guess the formal definition is family separation. But you know, the whole process of taking kids away from their parents, their birth mothers, and their families, their heritage. It seems like it's a thing now with that Stephen Miller, the Nazi we have in the White House, has been doing that with kids that come up to the border with their families. And I guess the latest count now is about 5,500 have been removed from their parents. And the parents are with ICE, and the kids are somewhere in the bureaucratic hallways of the Department of Health. And it's hard to get them back together again. And some of the stories about how they're being treated really upset me. And then on top of Stephen Miller, who is like, I think, the worst individual I have ever seen, is Putin, who would be the second worst. And he's busy having his people get awards for taking children from their Ukrainian parents and taking them into Russia to raise them away from their birth families. But the truth is, we've been doing that a lot here in this country. You know, every year Native American kids get taken away from their parents for various reasons. I'm sure there's good ones sometimes. And it's a really large number of people, and not to mention just the people who are not Native Americans. Anyhow, I got Kelsey here with me, and I want to talk about that with him, hear what his thoughts are. So, how about introducing yourself, Kelsey?
Sure, I'm Kelsey Wayne Sunshine. I was adopted from Canada to the United States. I don't really know my birth family. It's been a long road, but I was adopted by good people. And yeah, that's who I am, basically.
Okay, where were you living in Canada when you got born?
Oh, well, I got taken away from my mother and at 3 years old, and then I moved from 3 different foster homes in 3 years till I was 6 years old. That's when I got adopted to the United States. So I kind of bounced around, and then I left home and I was 15 years old. Because it was, I got introduced to my parents, saying this is your mom and this is your dad, and I knew it. They weren't my mom and dad. So, I called them by their first names for a long time. I left home at 15 years old and kind of haven't looked back since.
So you left one of your adopted homes?
Yeah.
So what's this about the big scoop in Canada? What was that about?
That 60s scoop. It's when the Canadian government, they scooped up all these native kids, and they basically put them in foster homes and they adopted them out of their culture, their language, their families. So that's what the 60s scoop was, and I'm a 60s scoop survivor. I went through that, and so did thousands of kids.
Well, how did Canadians end up in the States? How'd that work?
I don't know how. I haven't really talked to my adopted parents about how they come across.
Yeah.
To where they adopted me. I mean, I guess it was through the Canadian government.
Yeah. Well, do you have any of your? I notice you're wearing the Native Pride hats.
Yeah,
You're still proud of being a Native American.
Yeah.
Native Canadian.
I have a Native brother who gave me this. It was a gift.
Yeah. So have you ever made it back to Canada?
No, not yet. I'm still trying to get my life together. It's been a long road.
How old are you now, Kels?
49, almost 50.
I'll tell you what, I've seen this guy over 3 years and he impresses the hell out of me. He's got a lot of heavy lifting he's been doing. And I'm thinking he's going to pull something off pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people in Helena love this guy. He's a pain in the ass, but they love him. Anyhow, I noticed that the only, I got 2 daughters that are social workers. I mean, they must talk about this all the time, I got 1 daughter. I'm sure they do. But I know they probably know more about the issues than you and I probably do, because some parents they're just terrible parents.
Yeah.
And some fathers particularly, but both sides, one side or the other. So I know it's not an easy issue. But I also noticed that the United Nations UNICEF Fund, which is when I was a kid, I would collect donations for the United Nations Children's Education Fund when we were out trick-or-treating. And some people would be really upset because they don't like the UN, some kind of a conspiracy thing. But I noticed they use a lot of the money from UNICEF for places for kids in these refugee camps that are disconnected from their parents, just to come and get food or be treated decently or treated with some kind of love. Right. Seems like a start to me. I mean, it's like I don't know the answers, but that is clearly the right thing to do.
We're trying to do something.
So in your journey, have you had some good experiences?
Oh yeah, I feel blessed every day.
Well, I know, but what specifically, with parents that you had, or
oh, well, it's I have a lot of issues with like families and stuff because I've never really. I mean, I have a family, I guess you could say. I have families everywhere, but I really nowhere I can call home.
This guy calls everybody his brother and his sister, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Because we are all brothers and sisters, so.
Yeah.
And I don't really know any of mine, so.
When in your foster homes, were you always a only kid?
No, they had a daughter of their own.
Yeah.
And I actually got adopted with another sibling of mine. We got adopted together, a brother. He's got some mental problems, I'm assuming. He got in trouble from a young age until, going in and out of jail all the time. And then finally they deported him back to Canada. And he just kept on, got into drugs and alcohol and turned to crime. And
did he ever meet your birth mother?
He has.
Wow.
Yeah. My birth mother, she actually tracked me down on Facebook.
Yeah.
And we wanted to go see her and my other family in Canada, but I need to get myself together, And I had this alcohol problem that kind of has been holding me back. But I'm sober 50-some days now.
That's good.
Yeah, trying to pull it together.
I gotta tell you, the women love this guy. I mean, especially when he's been drinking.
Oh, I bet.
But I like him when he's sober. Yeah. He's okay when he's drinking, but I like him when he's sober.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, is Sunshine your real last name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, do you remember your mom?
No.
You were 3 years old and you still don't remember at the time, huh?
No. I think I blocked out some trauma that had happened.
Yeah.
But I know what she looks like. I've seen pictures of her. You know, she sent me pictures online of her and, you know, a few of my other brothers and sisters. I'm 1 out of 11
Really?
siblings. Yeah.
Where are you in the line?
Well, she had 5 with my biological father, and then she ended up with another man and had 6 more. I was number 5 on her first litter.
Yeah.
The first kids, and then all my half brothers and sisters are, you know, younger than me. But I think me and one of my older brothers, we're the only ones left that have the same blood.
Yeah. So what tribe?
In Canada, they call them bands. I'm a Fishing Lake band out of Saskatchewan, from Northern Cree.
Yeah. They're the ones that got in the fight with the Blackfeet over on the Bull River.
I heard about that.
It was not good. But they're also...
Well, I don't hold a grudge.
Is there anything else, Kelsey, we should talk about on this?
I don't know.
I just feel like it's something that's obviously some people know a lot about it, the ones that were involved and the government agents that are involved, but I think the general public needs to start thinking about this. When guys like that Stephen Miller, what an asshole, can do this to people, and Putin, what an asshole. We got to do something about it, because these kids are just defenseless. And it's not because there might be an issue in their family, it's just because they want to do it. You know, they want to take people away from their families. And I just think that's unacceptable. And maybe Kelsey's turned out pretty good, but it's a long haul.
It's been a journey for me.
Yeah, I think you're going to do okay.
Well, I figure it's just a new chapter in my life. You know,
Yeah.
I've been on the streets and drinking and just ruining my life for too long. My body, I'm falling apart. Once I quit drinking, now I'm starting to feel all the aches and pains every time I fell down, every time I bumped into a wall.
Well, here's the deal. I told Kelsey earlier this year, I mean, we had a terrible winter sometime. I said, Kelsey, you're not going to make it through the winter. And he says, I don't think I am either. And by God, it's springtime. You made it.
Yeah, I did make it. It's because I got a great support system. People like you and the church here, and I've got tons of friends. You know, at the General Mercantile. You should check it out. Best coffee in town.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I hope you make it up to Canada.
One of these days. I hope. I'm not getting any younger. Neither is my mom. I have to go to the East Coast to visit my pop, my adopted father.
Yeah. So you got a good relationship with him. Yeah. Well, something happened good because you got your act. Kelsey's a natural leader. He really is. And but I like him just for kicks and giggles. Anyhow, anything else we should talk about?
Yeah.
Alrighty, that's good. I like his hat. Thanks. Appreciate it.